Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you guys like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So, over the Easter break, Donald Trump's VP search is reportedly starting to get very serious. He's actually actively going out there, meeting with people, considering about a dozen contenders, although it's kind of like a revolving door, it seems, who he's actually considering. We don't know who it's going to be. We don't even know who's on the short list. We keep getting these short lists and they, come out of left field every other day. Oh, he's considering this person or this person or this person. And Trump is somebody who likes to bait the media. And at times he'll even, I wouldn't say like troll his own base, but he will make decisions that kind of come out of left field about certain things. And usually they're met with resounding support from his base. And we did cover this a couple of weeks ago when Trump was asked about his VP selection. One of the things he said was that we have a lot of great people that nobody's ever heard of in the Republican Party. So could it be somebody that nobody's really thinking about? I might know who they are. I might have heard the name. Some of you guys might know, but the average Republican primary voter, they don't necessarily know every congressman or even every governor or every political figure who could be in consideration. So maybe he's going to pick somebody that's a little bit lower profile than somebody, like the names we've heard, like a Tim Scott, a Kristi Noem, a Ben Carson, for example. He might pick somebody that comes completely out of left field. And obviously you could go back to April of 2016. Trump was not, for sure going to be guaranteed the nomination until early May, but people were speculating, oh, it's going to be Chris Christie. Oh, he's going to pick Ben Carson or one of these other people. And nobody thought it would be Mike Pence, who at the time was supporting Ted Cruz for president in the state of Indiana. But that was who Trump eventually selected, mainly because he wanted to appeal to establishment Republicans who might be on the fence about Trump because they didn't trust his past as somebody who had some liberal positions. He had to placate the evangelicals who had questions about his personal life, but pretty much all that's out the window now. So what group does Trump need to placate this time to get across the finish line? That's a question that Trump and, his closest aides and allies are going to have to decipher the answer to. But still, you're looking at it and it's like, yeah, Donald Trump is considering many people, and now he's starting to do this apprentice-style search, which is very on brand for him. This article talks about it at length. And then you have Trump's top advisors talking about the fact that he's got a list of about a dozen people, but we don't really have a clear frontrunner. Trump himself said a couple of months ago that he was 25% sure about one person. That's never really, great odds to have, and that person might even not even be the frontrunner anymore. So the list has included a lot of people: Tim Scott, Kristi Noem, Byron Donalds, Elise Stefanik, Tulsi Gabbard, and J.D. Vance, who Trump has called a fighter. Now, this is an interesting list, and Byron Donalds, if he's going to pick somebody from Florida, I think it would probably be Byron Donalds because he could just easily resign and he could change his residency just like Dick Cheney did in the state of Texas in 2000 when he was going to be George Bush's running mate. So I think that that's more plausible than if he's going to go with somebody like a Marco Rubio or Ron DeSantis, who I don't believe is really in the running. But if he's going to pick somebody from Florida, it's probably a congressman, probably somebody, could be Byron Donalds, who has appealed to both wings of the party and is very eloquent in defending Donald Trump, which is partially the job of the VP on the campaign trail. But still, he's going to apparently draw out this apprentice-style search. And this is interesting. Who is he exactly going to pick? Because we hear different names every week, it seems. And, Tim Scott tried to establish himself as the front runner, endorsing Trump over Haley in New Hampshire, helping Trump win in New Hampshire, campaigning with him there. But then Trump is like questioning the pick because, he's, kind of socially liberal in some aspects, but also takes like an unelectable position on abortion. You don't want to energize the Democrats on that issue a whole lot because they don't really have a lot of issues right now that are beneficial for them. They're not doing well when it comes to the economy or immigration or anything. When those topics are pulled, Trump wins by a lot on them. and you see that there. And also, J.D. Vance comes out of left field. That's an interesting selection. Because Vance is somebody who does come from the MAGA wing, but he is kind of more reserved. He's got an excellent story to him. He doesn't have a lot of experience, and if Trump does win, basically you'd be guaranteeing Mike DeWine to pick Senator Matt Dolan to replace him, although it would kind of tee Vance up for 2028 very easily. And if Trump is going to pick a successor, that I would be more than comfortable with. Although, there are questions about how does he help out electorally. He's from the Rust Belt, Trump, in terms of his ability to win over and energize voters in like rural Pennsylvania, possibly even rural Michigan as well. There's definitely a lot of potential there, but, he is very much a conservative. He's more right-leaning than Trump on some things, so that's something that Trump is going to have to consider. Then Katie Britt's on this list, who kind of, I think, fumbled the bag completely when it came down to the whole State of the Union thing. And Marco Rubio, I actually think Rubio would be an interesting selection. I think he would balance out the ticket perfectly and kind of help Trump out with all wings. And Rubio's definitely somebody who was an establishment Republican, but he's evolved over time. Some people are still not going to trust him, but I think a Trump-Rubio ticket would be excellent on paper. And on top of that, how would it work, though, is the real question, because he's senator of Florida. And if Trump won and Rubio would become VP, definitely you'd probably have a better senator pick there than Matt Dolan in Ohio in the Vance comparison. But still, you also have Governors Noem, who I really don't see being picked. She's doing a lot of weird infomercials for like dentists. I don't know if that's like VP material. I don't know what she's trying to do. But then you have Sarah Sanders of Arkansas. She's only been there a couple of years, just like Vance, so I don't know how that's exactly going to play out. And Doug Burgum of North Dakota, that's definitely a dark horse pick, in my opinion. Is he a perfect selection? No, but he's a likable guy. I could see Trump do it, and he definitely has appeal to, both wings of the party just based off of how he conducts himself in rhetoric, etc., you name it. He's definitely not successor material. And then you have Tulsi Gabbard being considered as well, who has been, recently a Democrat. She was a Democrat until 2 years ago. Now, she definitely was at odds with her party on a lot of issues, and I think she's proven on some issues, a little bit less proven on others. I would vote for the ticket. I'd love to see her go on that debate stage with Kamala Harris and just completely go out there and eviscerate her again. That would be awesome to see. But then again, there is the question of, would the base be fine with it? I'd like to see some internal polling about what Trump supporters would see. What would they be more inclined to, stay home with any of these selections? I think so long as it's not Nikki Haley, who I don't believe is in the running anymore, I think that the base would be fine. It's about how do you, get some, independents or even like right-leaning independents on board. Maybe you could find some people disaffected with Biden. Maybe Gabbard wouldn't be the worst pick in that regard, but I understand the criticism that a lot of people do throw her way. So we talk about how other people that are in Trump's orbit are kind of, feeding intel a little bit. And Tommy Tuberville is close to Trump, and he says he'll ask you about people, meaning probably other senators that he's considering. And he said, all I can tell you is if you're hearing any names, it's not going to be them. It's all propaganda. That could be to throw off the media, but either way, what is true is that, the short list might not end up being true. It might not end up being the case. Whatever names you hear, they may not be selected. It might be somebody that comes completely out of left field, even on this odds tracker. Maybe they're not high on it. We talk about the people that are considered the favorites. Tulsi Gabbard's in second place, but you go down the list and you load all of these people. You see people like Lee Zeldin, who could be a dark horse. You see other people here as well. I don't think it's going to be a lot of names on this list, but Marsha Blackburn, for example. Could it be Marsha Blackburn? Maybe. We'll see. I don't know if Trump is going to select a woman. A lot of people said early on he would only consider women, but apparently he's not just considering women. I'd like him to consider the best person for the job overall. And also, advisors to Trump or former advisors like Kellyanne Conway are saying, unlike the Democrats who are stuck with a wildly unpopular president and VP, because that's true, Kamala Harris is a disaster, Trump has an embarrassment of riches in terms of who he can choose. So Trump is somebody who has a problem with abundance because he has a lot of people that could be decent options, or at least people that will be seen as a hell of a lot better than the disaster in Kamala Harris, and maybe finding that contrastment is something that he needs to consider. There's a lot of things that could really go into play. Who knows what he's exactly going to do? Could he choose J.D. Vance? It's possible. But at the end of the day, he's going to have to decide what helps him electorally, because the VP pick, does it help you? Usually, maybe here and there. I think in this case, I don't think it's really going to help Trump a ridiculous amount based off of who he decides to select. But at the end of the day, if he picks somebody that might be the wrong choice, that's not something he wants to do. So he's going to have to weigh quite a few of the pros against quite a few of the cons and see exactly what happens, and there's that. So that's the update. He's getting closer. He's going apprentice mode. He's doing what he does best, and we will see who he ends up selecting to be his running mate. The list is changing constantly. We're going to see what happens. I'd like for you guys to comment down below who you would, A, like it to be, and B, who you believe that it would be at the end of the day. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Please like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Red Eagle, out.